only way we are going to transfer power back to the people is if every single person gets involved to at some minimum capacity. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of A Plea To Humanity. My name is Corbin Sable and I've got a very simple message for you for this episode. If you do not care about politics, well, politics cares about you. What do I mean by that? I mean that roughly a lot of everything around us and a lot of things we complain about is because of politics. We complain about the taxes we pay. We complain about the things around us that are happening, that are unfolding around us, and it all is because of politics. So again, if you do not care about politics, politics cares about you. I'm going to put it in another way, and I put it on my Instagram, and you can see it right here. Most people want to go about their day and live their lives to the best of their ability. Few people want to reform the world to meet their liking. What do I mean by that? Most people are just probably like you and me. Most people just want to live their lives to the best of their ability. Go about their day. Take care of their family. Go out and have fun. Worry about retirement, normal people things. There are few people in this world that want to change the world to their liking. Their entire purpose, their entire existence is, how can I change this world to my liking? Not necessarily for the better, but for my liking. How can I get more powerful, There are few people like that on both sides of the political aisle, the right and the left, and they take advantage of the people like you and me, and these people, again, there's very few of them in comparison to the masses like you and me who just want to live our lives and go about our day. But at the end of the day, if we are not paying attention, we are going to let those few people not only run the world, but make policies that impact us, and oftentimes in a negative way. So if you don't care about politics, my plea to humanity, to you, is to start caring about politics. Now, I get it. It is overwhelming. It can be daunting. There is a lot going on. And we have essentially been raised at this point. I'm 32 years old. So we have been essentially raised at this point to not pay attention to politics. And I can't help but think that that is by design. So I get it. It's daunting. There's a lot. But the way I see it, think of it as like you've never worked out before. And you see a picture of this really fit guy or fit girl or whoever you're comparing to or whatever you're aspiring yourself to be like. And, you get in the gym and you start. And then over time, you're progressively getting closer and closer to your goals. Paying attention to politics and becoming well-informed and educated is the same way. It's going to take time to become well-informed and educated, but you start now. You start paying attention now. You don't just, I'm not going to care about that. I don't have that attitude. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It is so frustrating to me when I have conversations with people about, how expensive gas prices are here in California, and I'll get to that in a little bit. It is so frustrating to me when I have conversations with people about something like how expensive gas prices are in California, and then the follow-up conversation is, I don't vote. Or, I didn't even know there was a gas tax. And my brain just starts to implode, figuratively, of course. My brain just starts to implode, and I just get so frustrated because we could have a better world ahead of us if more people just started to pay attention. I'm not expecting everybody to have an in-depth level of knowledge. I wouldn't even say I have an in-depth level of knowledge of a lot of things, but I pay attention, and I have been paying attention for a couple of years now, and I'm going to obviously continue to pay attention, and my level of knowledge and insight and understanding is going to continue to grow and develop, right? So I'm not saying everybody needs to have a master's level of knowledge, an expert level of knowledge in any given subject. I'm just saying everybody needs to pay attention, right? One of the most uncomfortable truths that we're going to have to accept in order to transfer power back to the people is that no one is coming to save us. Absolutely no one is coming to save us. And the only way we are going to transfer power back to the people is if every single person gets involved to at some minimum capacity. Whether you're paying attention, whether you're going to your local city council meetings, county board of supervisors meetings, school board meetings every once in a while, you're actively engaged in your community, in the process of politics in some capacity. So you can either be a bystander and let those few people that I mentioned earlier in this video control you, or you can get in the game. What do you want to be? Do you just want to let the few people, the few out there that, and many of those few people are psychopaths, that want nothing to do but get wealthy and powerful, and they're going to screw you over and siphon your wealth and siphon the wealth out of the people in order to do that? Do you want to let those people run the world? Do you want to let those people pass laws and regulations to control you? Or do you want to have some skin in the game? Do you want to say, hey, to those psychopaths out there that are passing these laws, that are sending billions of dollars to other countries while there's homeless on our streets, do you just want to let them do that without you saying anything? Absolutely not. That sounds so powerless. That sounds like a population that doesn't have the power. We got to start, if we're going to transfer power back to the people, we got to pay attention, my friends. We got to pay attention. There's some people out there that are really doing some bad things. I'm going to speak to my fellow Californians here for a little bit because that's what I live in California. I live in San Diego, so I have more knowledge about what's happening here than I do in other states. But for crying out loud, there's things that are happening here in this state that I don't think people are connecting the dots. Gas prices are more expensive here than in any other state because of the policies and the taxes set by our government. We have a state gas tax. It's an extra 53 cents per gallon of gas. When you combine that with other fees and regulations and taxes, when you combine that with the environmental regulations, with the winter blend and the summer blend that the state of California imposes on the gas companies and the oil refineries, you start to understand why gas is so expensive. When you know of Proposition 47 that was passed in 2014 that reduced certain felonies to misdemeanor status, such as the theft of property that is under $950. I'm going to repeat that. Proposition 47, labeled the Safe Neighborhood and Schools Act, if I got that correctly, ironically, right? Reduced certain acts from a felony status to a misdemeanor status, such as the theft of personal property, the theft of property under $950. When you know that, that was an actual law that was passed, you can connect the dots with the rise in crime in California, right? When you know that there's district attorneys in your county that are soft on crime, you can connect the dots that, hey, these people that we're voting for are up to no good. But it starts with you paying attention. It starts with you understanding. It starts with you getting some skin in the game. So if you are one of those people who don't care about politics, this is my plea to you to start paying attention, to start getting some skin in the game. It's important. Here's another point. We can disagree all day long about political issues, but we must still pursue truth. That is what is missing, the desire for truth. We have gotten very partisan lately in our country, and I'm assuming around the world. But here in America, our political divide, our partisanship has gotten pretty crazy. These ideological camps that they've put us in, they want nothing more but for us to remain in those ideological camps, and we must break free of those ideological camps if we're going to transfer power back to the people. We must liberate ourselves from these labels that we've prescribed ourselves. These Republican, Democrat, left, right, conservative, liberal labels. Do not put yourself in a camp by labeling yourself. And always pursue truth, no matter what. Always pursue truth. It's uncomfortable to admit when you're wrong, or if you didn't know something, or if somebody corrects you on something. It's uncomfortable, I get it. But it's necessary. It's necessary to pursue truth over anything else. We can disagree all day long and still be on the same side. I said this in Episode 1, this is the point that I drove home on episode 1, the side of the people. That's what they don't want us to realize. They want us divided by making us think our fellow American who doesn't agree with us is our enemy, and our politician who agrees with us is our friend. That's what we got to accept. That's another uncomfortable truth. Many uncomfortable truths that we have to accept if we're going to transfer power back to the people, such as don't label yourself, no one's coming to save us. We can disagree and still be friends. We can disagree, you and I, on the most uncomfortable issues, such as the abortion issue. And we can still be on the same side. Because there's that few people, those few psychopaths, those sinister parasites that are in power and control, that have divided the people into the two left and right camps. They've pitted the people against each other, and they made us think that they are our friends while our neighbor who disagrees with us politically is our enemy. We have to turn that around. The ultimate test we must pass in order to transfer power back to the people will be calling out the corruption from our preferred political party. There's another uncomfortable truth for you. I'll be honest with you, I was raised in a Republican household, Republican conservative household. My values do tend to lean to the right, but I'm not going to automatically assume that the Republican Party is the answer. Quite frankly, I've grown to be quite frustrated with the Republican Party, the establishment Republican Party. There's a lot of corruption within the establishment Republican Party. Many of them, behind closed doors, are hand in hand and friends with many on the Democrat side, called the uniparty, so to speak. So I'm not a fan of the Republican Party, really. Definitely not a fan of the Democratic Party. I'm an independent, I guess. And even then, I don't even like to call myself an independent. I'm just Corbin, right? And that's what I encourage you all to do, is to just not label yourself. Don't put any labels on yourself because it puts you in a mental box. Here's another point. Nearly everything from abortion to vaccines to any crisis you can think of is a wedge used to divide the people intentionally. Intentionally. These wedges are created by sinister parasites who co-opt labels such as Republican or Democrat to give the appearance they are our ally and our neighbor our foe. Isn't it ironic that, let's just use the Democrats and abortion example. They've been in power multiple times for the past 50, 60 years, ever since Roe versus Wade passed. They could have codified abortion into law many times, but they haven't. Right? But they haven't. They just continue to ask for money. Hey, chip in $5, chip in $10, and we'll fight for the people. Republicans do the same thing. I just saw a tweet here from the GOP on Twitter. Republicans are going to hold big tech accountable. I'm not holding my breath. All right? If the Republicans stand for limited government, they sure haven't taken any action on it over the past years when they've been in power. If I recall correctly, during the Trump administration, the Republicans have been in power for the first 2 years of the Trump administration, and what did they do to hold big tech accountable? What did they do to limit the size and scope of government? What did they do to reduce taxes? No, they did nothing. Our national debt continued to increase. Inflation keeps going up. Wars, they go on forever. We keep dying in their wars. We send our sons and daughters to die in their wars. It just keeps going on and on and on, regardless of who's in power, and that is what we have to understand. So that's about it. I think I'm going to wrap it up with, that's my plea to humanity for you for episode 3, is to get in the game. Start paying attention. It starts now. It starts with you making a decision to get in the game, to make a choice. You know, am I going to be a bystander or am I going to pay attention? Once you make that choice, then the rest is easy. You got to make the choice first. You have to make the conscious decision that, no, I'm not going to be a bystander any longer. No, I'm not going to be part of this tribalistic partisan game that they want us to be in. Yes, I'm going to pay attention. Yes, I'm going to break myself free and liberate myself from these labels and these ideological camps. No, I'm not going to view my neighbor who disagrees with me politically as my enemy. Things like that. These are conscious decisions that you, the individual, must make. And when we get more people to make decisions like this, we are getting closer and closer and closer to transferring power back to the people. And that is my plea to humanity for episode 3. Thank you for watching. My name is Corbin Sable. If you like this message, give this video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you next time. Oh, also, I can't believe I didn't talk about this when I was filming the podcast, but here in San Diego, Sandag wants to tax us for every single mile we drive. Imagine getting taxed for every single mile you drive in your vehicle. These are the consequences that we are going to receive if we don't pay attention. So I just wanted to add that, and I can't believe I didn't talk about that.